Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one, the only, you guessed it, Xcn. How did you guys know we're talking about this beloved crypto? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you know me. I am super, super high on Xcn, right? Do I think it's the number one crypto in the world? No. Do I think it's top five? No. But do I think it is worth investing? Personally, I think so. Now, I am not a financial I'm not a financial advisor. And these are just my opinions. I look at the data, I look at the projects, and I see the price. I like the price. I think it's discount. I take the shot. Understand? So obviously, do not just follow my footsteps because I am high on Xcn and because I do think that um, you know, just because I think Xcn is going to do this cycle, do well this cycle. Sorry, that is right. Listen, I'm all over the place a little bit. That's called caffeine, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a little bit sensitive to caffeine. Fun fact. So sometimes I'm a little bit speedy with my words. I'm thinking 5 steps ahead. But seriously, look, I'm high on Xcn. All right. I don't have it injected in my veins, but I do have it in my wallet. Because why? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Xcn objectively is fairly low, right? It is fairly cheap. Now, do I see instant reversal signs right now? No. But what do I see? Opportunity. Why? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. This huge leg we had to the upside is getting corrected, right? We have practically filled almost all of the imbalance that needs to be filled for a full on correction. I do think, we will be taking out some of these monthly candles like September. September is literally not showing anything other than continuation for bearish momentum, right? But it's really up to the quarter four because here's the deal, people, right? We can be looking kind of decent where we have this type of line like this, right? Boom. And then ZBEC, or not ZBEC, sorry, just made a video on ZBEC. So boom, muscle memory. But we kind of dip here and then we see some type of reversals, kind of like the same way we did for, the April bottoms for Bitcoin, where it just took out March, it took out the March bottoms, it took out the 3-month bottoms, and then it started to reverse, right? And it started to reverse. I am, like I said, personally super, super high on Xcn. So we could see something like this. And we did talk about this sniper entry, right? On the daily, ladies and gentlemen. We talked about this a while ago because I did say, look, I'm sorry, I was wrong about some type of previous price action. And I said, you know what? You guys will get some free value because I felt bad. Now, obviously, as a trader, you cannot expect to be 100%. But yeah, I did feel bad because I do love the XCN community. I was like, you know what? I feel a little bit bad. I know I'm not always going to be 100% because no trader is, but I do believe having a buy limit around the 0.009 is a very smart decision, in my opinion. Again, not as a financial advisor or anything, but in my personal opinion. And I do have a limit there. I do have a limit there, and it will be one of my bigger bags overall, right? Because I have been dollar cost averaging, generally speaking. I bought some here, you know what I'm saying? In these zones here, a little bit here. And, I am going to be almost matching all of my dollar cost averaging prices. And I am going to be getting a very nice juicy bag if we do snipe this zone. So I'm just letting you guys know that. Some free value for you guys. Some free value for you guys. I know some of you guys are kind of over this cycle and you just want things to pump. We have to remember, ladies and gentlemen, I have zero influence. Zero. I just look at data. I tell you the data. I'm accurate depending on the week, the day, and stuff. 80, 85, 95, even sometimes 100% for a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Sometimes it fluctuates, right? But I'm accurate at a fairly high rate, and then we just move on with our life, right? I just tell you what's going to happen. Right now, as of right now, there are not many indications that XCN is going to reverse. Now, XCN could still technically pump up to this zone, and it could see some type of reaction before it continues to sell off. Overall, I expect September to be, the rest of September to be weak. I do expect the beginning of October to have manipulation once again. Okay. And look, ladies and gentlemen, right now there are zero, and I mean zero signs of any real reversals. When we did have signs of reversals, it was very, very short lived. We pumped a good amount. We did sell off, But then when we did try to reattempt, it was very, very poor for 3 days. So yeah, that's the thing, people. The reversal signs are there. Sometimes we get the pump we need, but then when it comes to the retest, when it comes to the pullback, when it comes to actually, you know, doing step two or doing step three or doing step four, we've been failing at it. But it's not an Xcn issue. Just letting you guys know, it is not an Xcn issue because the whole market has been suffering. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're rank 145 out of 9,510 active cryptos. We are at 375 million market cap, 11 million volume. So not bad, not bad. Let's see where we are in terms of holders. I mean, we are skyrocketing. My God, last few days we are just continuously going up. So, price is down, holders are skyrocketing. You guys can do the math, right? You guys can do the math, you know, because I know some people believe, we're going down because people are selling, but no, the data actually says otherwise, that we're going down, but we are rising in holders. Okay, that means people are buying. People are, seeing the value of Xcn and they are going in. Ladies and gentlemen, the time to get serious is now. The next few months are going to be the most crucial time of your lives. Okay. We're going to have crypto exploding, and this is the time to get a portfolio review, right? You got to make sure you have the right cryptos. You don't want any old or dead coins, or you don't want anything that can give you little profits, right? So we provide a portfolio review. We've also been smashing it with the high probability meme coins. We hit an 11x, an 8x, and 5.5x in recent times. We also provide a weekly report on the crypto data, on the crypto analysis, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, on other altcoins as well. You get all this and a bunch more other benefits. Highly recommend joining the private community. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some money. You can see there's just a few kind of reminders, just a few, little updates. Nothing too crazy when it comes to Xcn. This is the best in terms of recent updates. So we can see Xcn is now available to trade on Bitstamp by Robinhood. So yeah, new assets, same trusted platform. So let me know what you guys think about this. I do sometimes look at the Twitter page, and yeah, I actually did miss this. All right, we were thrilled to announce Xcn is now listed on Bitstamp by Robinhood. So yeah, you know what? This is actually a nice W. Overall, I don't look at this page too much because when I have, it's kind of just like this, nothing too crazy. But the Goliath is coming out in 15 days, so we will be definitely covering that type of news when the time comes. But look, ladies and gentlemen, that is ultimately it, right? I did say before that when we go and look at this price point from a Fibonacci type of standpoint, we could do something like this. We are almost down 88% from the most recent highs back in April. So for me, discounted areas, very, very big discounted areas. Now, of course, you could be that person that goes all the way up here and you go to these lows. But then even if you did that, I know this is kind of in the way now. Even if you did that, once again, we're still kind of close to 88%, right? We're kind of at the 80-ish percent. So still massive discounts from the highs. And you got to remember, this is only part of, um, you know, this is only part of the journey, right? Coming back down here and then coming back to these highs. And we still have all of these areas to take out, right? I still, at bare minimum, believe we'll probably be taking out this area, which obviously, if we take out these highs, 18 cents, that is going to be at least 18 times this cycle. And of course, when it comes to the market cap, I already do believe we can go upwards of even 25x because I do believe 10 billion is a very, very nice sweet spot for something like Xcn. That is ultimately it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.